late getting around to filming some of my February TBR. Life has been really busy, and I felt like it has drop kicked me to the far side of the moon, really. It's been so crazy. But I'm here today to talk about some of the romances that I would like to read in the month of February. And the first one I have is My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. This one is a hate to love, which is the theme for several of my romances that I'm going to be reading this month. It's kind of my favorite. Anyway, it was supposed to be a relaxing vacation in sweet, sunny Cape Cod. Just me and my beloved brother. But discovering a corpse in our rental house really throws a wrench into our tanning schedule. Now, a rude, crude bounty hunter has arrived on the back of his motorcycle to catch the killer and refuses to believe I can be helpful, despite countless hours of true crime podcast listening, not to mention a fulfilling teaching career of wrangling second graders. The bounty hunter says, I'm just here to do a job, not babysit an amateur sleuth, although it has become less and less of a hardship to have her around. Sure, she's stubborn, distracting, and can't stay out of harm's way. She's also brave and beautiful, and reminds me of the home I left behind 3 years ago. In other words, the insatiable hunger and protectiveness she is waking up in me is a threat to my peace of mind. Before I sink any deeper into this dangerous attraction, I need to solve this murder and get back on the road. But will fate take her from me before I realize the road has been leading to her all along? We'll see. The next book I have is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Nemesis, noun. One a person cannot best or overcome. A person's undoing. Or Josh Templeman. Lucy Hutton and Joshua Templeman hate each other. Not dislike. Not begrudgingly tolerate. Hate. They have no problem displaying their feelings through a series of ritualistic passive-aggressive maneuvers as they sit across from each other. Executive assistants to co-CEOs of a publishing company. Lucy can't understand Joshua's joyless, uptight, meticulous approach to his job. Joshua is clearly baffled by Lucy's overly bright clothes, quirkiness, and Pollyanna attitude. Now that they're up for the same position, their battle of wills has come to a head, and Lucy refuses to back down when their latest game could cost her dream job. But the tension between Lucy and Joshua also reached its boiling point, and Lucy is discovering that maybe she doesn't hate Joshua, and maybe he doesn't hate her either. Or maybe this is just another game. I guess we'll see about that one too. This is one that I've been looking forward to reading. It is The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I've heard a lot about this book. Since Mom Jessica Davis is a data and statistics wizard, but no amount of number crunching can convince her to step back into the dating world. Raised by her grandparents, who now help raise her 7-year-old daughter, Juno, Jess has been left behind too often to feel comfortable letting anyone in. After all, her father was never around, and her hard-partying mother disappeared when she was 6. And her ex decided he was father material before Juno was even born. Jess holds her loved ones close, but working constantly to stay afloat is hard and lonely. But then Jess hears about genetically a buzzy new DNA-based matchmaking company that predicted to change dating forever. Finding a soulmate through DNA, the reliability of numbers, this Jess understands. At least she thought she did until her test shows an unheard of 98% compatibility with another subject in the database. One of Genetically's founders, Dr. River Pena. This is one number she can't wrap her head around, because she already knows Dr. Pena. The stuck-up, stubborn man is without a doubt not her soulmate. But Genetically has a proposition. Get to know him and we'll pay you. Jess, who was barely making ends meet, is in no position to turn it down, despite her skepticism about the project and her dislike for River. As the pair drive from one event to the next, as the diamond match that could launch Genetically's valuation sky high just begins to realize that there might be more to the scientist and the science behind a soulmate than she thought. This one really intrigues me, especially with the DNA match and everything, so you wonder how much science really is behind the concept of love. This book I have wanted to read based on the cover alone. Anatomy, a love story. I mean, this cover is just gorgeous. This is a gothic tale full of mystery and romance. Hazel Stinnen is a lady who wants to be a surgeon more than she wants to marry. And Jack Currer is a resurrection man who's just trying to survive in a city where it's easy to die. When the two of them have a chance encounter outside the Royal Edinburgh Anatomist Society, Hazel thinks nothing of it at first. But after she gets kicked out of the renowned surgeon Dr. Beecham's lectures for being the wrong gender, she realizes that her new acquaintance might be more helpful than she first thought. Because Hazel has made a deal with Dr. Beecham. If she can pass the medical examination on her own, he will allow her to continue her medical career. Without official lessons, though, Hazel will need more than just her books. She'll need corpses to study. Luckily, she's made an acquaintance with someone who digs them up for a living. But Jack has his own problems. Strange men have been skulking around cemeteries. His friends are disappearing off the streets. And the dreaded Roman fever, which wiped out thousands a few years ago, is back with a vengeance. Nobody important cares until Hazel. Now Hazel and Jack must work together to uncover the secrets buried in not just in unmarked graves, but in the very heart of an Edinburgh society. This book is so intriguing to me. I fell in love with the cover, but then after reading the synopsis, I have fallen in love more with the concept of this book. So I can't wait to read this one and find out if it is as good as I think it is going to be. And the next and last romance that I have set up for this month is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. The title of this one alone makes it worth the read to me. So we'll see if it is as good as its title. But here's the synopsis. Fei Adekola wants to learn how to live again. I can't talk today. It's been 5 years since the accident that killed the love of her life. And she's almost a new person now. An artist with her own studio, sharing a brownstone apartment with her ride-or-die best friend, who insists it's time for Fei to ease back into the dating scene. Fei isn't ready for anything serious, but a steamy encounter at a rooftop party cascades into a whirlwind summer she could never have imagined. A luxury trip to a tropical island, decadent meals in glamorous home of celebrity chef, and a major curator who wants to launch her art career. She's even started dating the perfect guy, but their new relationship might be sabotaged before it even has a chance by the overwhelming desire Fei feels every time she locks eyes with the one person who is most definitely off limits, his father. The new life she asked for just got a lot more complicated, and Fei must begin her search for real answers. Who is she ready to become? Can she release her past and honor her grief while still embracing her future? And of course, there's the biggest question of them all. How far is she willing to go for a second chance at love? I'd like to know. I'm hanging out here at one of my favorite places in the world, and I've been here before to tape, and I read here an awful lot. And I don't know if you can hear in the background, but the geese and the ducks are really feisty this morning. So I'm going to go hang out a little bit, and I will come back to talk about a couple of the other books that I want to read this month in honor of Black History Month. So I'm at my favorite coffee shop again, and I'm having trouble going home because they're playing some wonderful music today. It's old school hip hop, and I'm totally in love. So I have a couple of books that I'm reading for Black History Month. One is Hidden Figures, which I don't have a copy of with me. But if you're familiar with the movie at all, then I'm pretty sure that you know what the synopsis of the book is. I'm going to be interested to compare the movie to the book, having already seen the movie. And the other book that I want to read for Black History Month is Concrete Rose. This is the prequel to The Hate You Give. And the premise of this story is that if there is one thing 17-year-old Maverick Carter knows, it's a real man takes care of his family. As son of a former gang legend, Mav does the only way he knows how, dealing with the King Lords. With the money, he can help his mom, who works 2 jobs while his dad is in prison. Life's not perfect, but with a fly girlfriend and a cousin who always has his back, Mav's got everything under control. That is, until Maverick finds out he's the father. Suddenly he has a baby. 7 who depends on him for everything. But it's not easy to do it's not easy to sling dope, finish school, and raise a child. So when he's offered to take a chance to go straight, he takes it. In a world where he's expected to amount to nothing, maybe Mav can prove that he's different. When King Lord blood runs through your veins, though, you can't just walk away. Loyalty, revenge, and responsibility threaten to tear Mav apart, especially after the brutal murder of a loved one. He'll have to figure out for himself what it really means to be a man. So I'd love to know what books you're interested in reading this month. Comment down below, and I'll see you on the next adventure.